Hello and welcome to our show today. This is Worried About Nothing, and we're going to talk about Kim's soul readings. For our listeners who may have heard the show before, we talk about the fact that Kim has the ability to see, and we're lucky enough to be joined with people today that she did soul readings for. So we're going to let them talk about their experience, and if we have enough time, Kim's also going to talk about her process for doing soul readings. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Kim.
And I'm Katya.
Welcome.
And I'm Mickey.
Oh. Sorry, I'm just introducing.
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to say something.
Oh, that's okay.
No, dive right in there. That's
Yeah.
So we're joined today by three lovely people, Mickey and Gabriella and Jeanette. So lovely to have you. Thank you so much for all coming on. And it was just such a joy to do your readings. It was just beautiful to connect with all your souls. You're just so lovely. And I haven't done a soul reading for a while, and it just really reminded me how much I love it and how much of an honor it is to be able to just see how beautiful people are. And sometimes they have no idea. And it's just such a joy to sometimes just remind them, you know, and that's one of the things I found with all three of your readings was just seeing how incredible you all are and just hopefully helping you to step through that doubt, you know, and really see how amazing you are. Because I think that's, for me, that's one of the reasons I do soul readings, is just to remind people who they are. You know, because sometimes we forget. It's easy to forget. But yes, so thank you very much. It was an honor.
It was lovely to receive.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, same. It was a real pleasure to. It was lovely to read through it because it really resonated deeply with me. And I know when something resonates because I actually had tears in my eyes when I was reading it. So it was lovely. Thank you.
And for me too, it was that way for me as well. And in addition to that, that night, after reading it, I had a dream which just confirmed things. So that was really special.
Really? Wow.
Wow.
Fantastic. What was the dream, if you don't mind talking about
Well,
it?
you had mentioned my twin flame in my twin in the dream, and actually in the reading, and he came through in the dream that night for me, just to confirm our connection and support that you brought through in the reading. So it was really special.
Oh, wonderful. So, without wanting to sound kind of egoic, does anyone want to kind of talk about their reading a little bit? Anything that stood out for you, or anything that you might have questions about or disagreed with?
Yeah, I really resonated with it. I had to sit with the first part when you were talking about being afraid to step into my power and of being called kind of like a witch with those type of powers. I remember being called weird. That was the word. And it did make me feel a little uncomfortable to kind of step in. I feel like I did be in the spotlight for a while, and then I took another break, and I'm now like you. I used to do intuitive readings, and I stopped for a while, and now I want to get back into that as well. But there's this hesitancy. And so the part that you talked about, just really coming and stepping into my power, really resonated with me because I feel it's time, and you were bringing that through in the reading. And just a lot of the support also that you brought through with my twin being a container for me. I feel that through my experience thus far, that has been the case. And I feel that he is that for me, and that it is my time. It is my time to really come forward again. So it resonated with me, but I had to sit with it to allow myself to receive it, you know, to know that it is time. Yeah. So it was just, I really appreciate it. And I know that the way it came about too, I didn't look for you, it just came and it happened. And that's another confirmation of it being time.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, your soul is raring to go. Definitely.
Well, that's what you called it, wild and free too. So that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. As soon as they tuned in, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
But I think another beautiful thing, and I didn't do this intentionally, but I think all three of you are healers in some form or another, you know, different forms. And that very strongly came through as well, because with all three of you, they were so different, you're different people, obviously, but there were some similarities. And one of the really strong underlying similarities was that incredible compassion you all have, and that real desire to serve and to help others. And it feels like when I did the soul readings for you, your souls were all very much aware of that and wanted you to just step up, because they can see how much you are, how incredible you are, and the potential you all have as well. And I think it's such a human thing to have that fear and that kind of playing small and the wanting to hide. It's very natural, especially if we've had lives, whether you believe in past lives or not. But if you do, you know, past lives of being witch, being burned at the stake, all of that kind of thing, which seems quite common with healers. And it can really bring fear into this life. But it feels like with all three of you, it felt like you're poised for greatness in some way that is more than you are allowing yourself to believe or see. So that was wonderful to be able to have that come through and put that onto the paper. Because that is one of the joys of doing soul readings, is to hopefully help people see some of this amazing greatness that they have in them that they may not be aware of, or it might have been crushed in childhood, or they may doubt, or whatever it is, but it's just expanding out. And I feel that with all three of you, in the readings, there was that wonderful feeling from your souls of just, yes, we can do this, you know? And I think that's what we all really need to do now, is just step out and be bigger, because we are bigger than we can possibly allow ourselves to conceive of. And it was just so beautiful to be able to bring that through, if that makes sense. And I'm not supposed to be talking, so shut up now.
I'll step in there, Kim, because what you were saying really resonates with me about, you know, keeping yourself small and the doubts. You know, my soul said, you know, I am building self-confidence, and that's something I've been doing recently. But things that have kept me small is just that fear of not being good enough, which, as you say, can come from, you know, maybe past lives or maybe this life. You know, just to use an example, my own brother in my family, he tells people that I'm a con artist for a living. and it's crazy because, you know, I help people and you know, I like to think that what I'm doing is good work. But when you've got people in your own family that sabotage and say that your work is not good enough, it's bound to have an effect. You know, so I think that's something that I've really worked on over the last few years, and just hearing that from my soul was really encouraging. You know, that I'm actually stepping more into my power and not being, you know, held back by these belief systems.
Yeah, and they are so ingrained. You know, the belief systems from our family are so ingrained. So it's natural that we take them on as our own. I mean, I had a recent incident with my mum that, anyway, that's another story. Why am I talking about me? Shut up. You guys go. I do this every podcast. It's like poor Danielle and Katya, so they're going, yeah, she's still talking. Yeah, she's still talking.
Not true. It's not true at all.
People love listening to you.
But that's the question, actually. What was it that, when you saw my post on Facebook, what was it that made you think, oh, I'd be interested in that?
Well, I'd had one before, you know, a few years ago, so I know how good you are. And actually I thought the timing was right. I felt like I needed a soul reading, so I jumped on it. And thank you, because I never win anything. So the fact that I was picked, I was very thrilled, because I think I just needed to hear that message at this time. So it was really useful. Thank you very much.
Oh, good. You're welcome.
Yeah, I think the same for me as well, because I was at a bit of a sticking point as to where to go next, and not really sure whether I was staying with animal work or starting to work with people a bit, and a lot of lack of confidence, really, because, you know, the partner that I'm with doesn't believe in coaching side of things, and, you know, that's not a real job, you know. And so I just thought, when I saw your post, it would be interesting to see what my soul's got planned for me, and everything that came through you was spot on, you know. In fact, you know, it brought tears to my eyes, because it was very much like I was as a child, you know, before I got pushed into looking after baby brothers and sisters, you know, that sort of thing, and drudgery, which, you know, at 9 years old, my parents split up and she had another family. I was suddenly changing nappies and doing the cooking and everything that my mum should have been doing. So I grew up pretty quick, you know. And prior to that, you know, my parents got pregnant unplanned, you know, so I was always told that I was a mistake and I'd ruin their lives. So even being little, I can remember, you know, like you do stage shows for your friends, you know, you're in the garden and you all do something. And I can remember my parents going, you know, because all the neighbours would come and watch, and they never even looked at whatever I was doing, you know, and it was, if I tried to practice, oh, stop showing off, you know, what are you doing? You're wasting your time, blah, blah, blah. And even school, you know, I can remember doing things at school and people would be, why are you doing that? You know, just don't do anything, you know, you don't have to do any drawing, you don't have to do anything any good. And that wasn't in me, you know, but my grandparents were really good. They were encouraging to me, which, you know, was what kept me going, really. So when the reading come through with you, I recognised that little girl from then, you know, that I haven't been since. And really, really nice, you know. And so, yeah, I mean, everything that was said was, you know, definitely resonated. I still haven't changed the colours. I'm still in black, but, you know, it had been on my mind to get some more colourful clothes and start wearing my crystals and things and do me things, you know. And it's ironic because, you know, my thing is about firing up your passion, and I'm not doing it for myself. So it was nice to see that my soul was giving me a kick up the bum to actually do it, do it for me instead of encouraging other people to do it, you know, as well as encouraging people to do it, you know. So yeah, it was a really good reminder of what was in there, you know, because I have always looked after everybody else, and you know, it's always been hard work, this life, you know, and God knows before that, you know, I know you said previous 5, and I can believe you. And I think a little bit of the starting my own healing business has been putting me off a little bit because I don't want to burn out again. You know, I've already done that in this life, you know, and I don't want to get, and it sounds too silly, but I don't want to get too busy with people because I feel that they might drain me, you know. But from what your reading said is that my soul will get joy from doing it, so it won't be a drain on my energy. So I'm going to go with that and take that as a positive, you know, not let my belief system pull me away from doing what I enjoy because I'm frightened I'm going to burn out or do too much, give too much. So yeah. And again, like I think it's Gabrielle said, I know, or was it you, Mickey, that says, I never win anything. I never do. So I was really shocked when I got the reading, you know. It was a lovely, well-timed surprise, you know. Oh yeah, definitely. And I definitely recommend you to anybody that's, you know, going through anything and not really sure what's out there for them, you know, where their sole purpose is or what they should be doing or could be doing better with their lives. Because I think, you know, certainly for me, you sort of lose confidence a bit, and who and what am I to say I can help these people, you know, or animals or whatever. You know, you just sort of get a little bit lose heart in whether you can actually make a difference. And I think we all do want to do that. But yeah, so the soul reading actually really gave me a boost in that respect, you know, because it became clearer to me that I actually was able to make a difference, you know. So yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. That was lovely. And I think it's so important for us to all support each other in what we do in whatever way we can, you know, because no man is an island, as it were, you know. So I feel strongly about this, that we all have to be there for each other. So if a soul reading can help somebody who's doubting themselves at that moment in time, then great, because then that person can go on and then do what they're meant to do. So I feel that it's the community rather than everybody as a single person. And I think sometimes that can help with the feeling overwhelmed as well, you know, that you're in a group, you know, you've got a team, it's not just you,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Something's just come to my mind, actually, which I'll share, because the day after I had the soul reading, Kim, I got attacked really badly on Facebook by, I don't know if they were trolls but it was interesting because they attacked the thing that you came up with in the soul reading, which was my worry about being a fraud or people, you know, saying that I'm not really doing the work that I'm doing. And it was really scary to have that sort of level of attack. But at the same time, it sort of really made me just sit back and think, no, actually what they're saying isn't true. This isn't the truth. And I actually just broke away with it. I didn't feel like I had to justify myself, but it really made me ponder for the next couple of days and really made me reflect on what had come up in the reading. So I don't think that was any accident that happened straight after your reading.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So do you think it gave you strength to push what they said away?
Yeah, it sort of brought it to the fore, really, because I've had my family saying that to me for like forever. I've always been worried about sort of how I'm perceived by other people as well, on that respect, you know. And so I think just it made it sort of come to the fore, and then I was able to work through it and deal with it. And the soul reading that Kim gave me just helped me to find the strength to face that core fear of mine, and I guess that belief was holding me back, you know, from achieving what I need to achieve. So it was really interesting. I don't think it was any accident that happened after the soul reading.
That makes sense. That's wonderful. Thank you.
It's just only just sort of dawned on me, really, that happened the next day after yours. And I've never been trolled like that before. So I was like, oh.
I remember you thinking about it, but I didn't think of the timing. But yeah.
The timing.
Yeah.
Trolls, aren't they delightful?
So delightful.
Yeah, we used to think there were little things under bridges when I was young.
Gabriella, what was it that drew you to wanting to have a soul reading?
I was opening up just to my guides, just for extra confirmation of me stepping up again, and any messages that I might need at the time to just confirm things. And then I saw your post, and it just felt like that was my answer. So I figured if I was one of the lucky ones, it was meant to be. Here I am.
Perfect. It's funny how these things sometimes happen. You know, everything happens in its own divine timing.
But it certainly was divine timing for me, because I don't get on Facebook that often nowadays because I don't have internet here, so it's reliant on my phone signal, which isn't great. So it was just real sheer luck, to be honest. I actually went on that night and saw the post, and there had been quite a few people had applied, and I just thought, nah, I'm not going to win. And then I thought, oh well, why not? And I was really shocked when I had actually got a win, you know. So, yeah, amazing. Definitely divine timing.
Another thing I wanted to thank you all for as well is that I'd stopped doing soul readings a few months ago because I'd had a bad experience with one where I'd done a soul reading, and it felt very true to me. I never write anything that it doesn't come through as truth to me, but the person I did the reading for wasn't ready to accept it in that form. And so that really discouraged me. And I kind of was doing a bit of beating myself up and thinking, oh God, I must be seeing things wrong, or I'm not saying things correctly. But then doing your 3 soul readings, you're much more open. But also it was a really lovely confirmation to me that when you are given a gift in whatever form it is, a healing gift or a seeing gift or whatever it is that you embody in this life, you have to use it. You have it for a reason, you know. So it was beautiful doing your readings because, as I said earlier, you're all so different, but so beautiful and so open. And it felt so lovely to connect with your souls and be able to just communicate and commune with them, you know. And I feel for all of us that the gifts that we have, and we know we have them, even though we might doubt them, they're there for a reason. We're not giving them haphazardly. We're not giving them just to waste them. So for me, it really feels like this year is a big year of stepping up and stepping into things that are really scary. I mean, soul readings can be scary because you don't know how people are going to respond. You don't know. I mean, the last person that I did one for before was very nasty. It was kind of an attack. And when you're in that open space of, you know, through the heart connection and somebody attacks you, it can be really to deal with. But I feel that we just have to keep going, and it's whatever we believe in, whatever we feel is true. We have to walk it. We have to act it. The time for sitting on the sidelines is over now. So I feel with all of us, we all have been given these beautiful gifts and we have to use them. And it can be scary. I mean, like doing these podcasts at the beginning was terrifying for me because you're speaking, you're putting your feelings and beliefs out into the world. But if it feels true to you, you have to do it, even if it's scary. And I feel like with all three of your readings, kind of there was so much there. You know, you all have so much potential and gifts, and there's just connecting with all of your beautiful souls. There's so much wisdom there, and there's so much knowledge there, and there's so much power there, and power in the true sense of power, not kind of an egoic wanting to rule the world kind of power, but a real feminine power, that divine feminine power, which can move mountains, is the kind of power that can achieve anything. And it really feels to me that, I mean, men too, but us women, really, it's kind of our time now to just step into that power and just own it, because we can do anything. You know, it's something we have to really take on and believe, I feel. So that was another joy in doing all of your readings, because there was the same kind of feeling through them, which is beautiful. It's lovely to kind of know that there's another sister out there, there's another woman that's walking with you. I feel that's very important too. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you. I think we all have to believe that and get over the conditioning that we've had in the past, whether it's been this life or the past ones, because I think there's so many women, even that I meet, that are frightened of putting anything out in the world, because like Mickey was saying, you get trolled by even your family, you know, the people that are most close to you, which really pushes down any confidence or, you know, truth that you feel. And you think, well, if they don't believe me, what have I got to offer? You know, I can't even get over that bridge. Who am I, you know, to say anything? But when you get a confirmation from your soul, your higher self, whichever, that this is what you're supposed to be doing, and basically just get over that, that people won't be interesting, because there are some people out there that are, and we owe it to ourselves and them to be able to help them, you know, and if those that don't like it, well, they don't need to come.
Yeah, exactly. And you never know who's going to be drawn to or resonate with what you're offering, because we can't ever know that. Because I think this is something that seems to be coming up at the moment for a lot of people too, myself included. I had an incident with my mum earlier in the week where she basically saluted me, and it really helped me to realize how deeply embedded that kind of sense can be, you know, when it's family conditioning. So I hadn't realized quite how deeply I heard her voice in my entire being, and her critical voice telling me that I was a failure, or I didn't know how to do this, or this, that, I needed to improve this. And it was just really helpful to realize on a deeper level that I'm not the version of me that she has in her head. That's made up. It's got nothing to do with me whatsoever. And I feel that that can really stop all of us, because our parents growing up are the ones that teach us things. They teach us about life. And so we believe them. But there comes a time when you need to let go of what their beliefs and systems are, and really step into what your own are, I feel. And it's difficult because it's unraveling your entire life sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Mickey, how you reacted when that troll came and attacked you, because I've had experiences like that too, and I just feel like I'm so sensitive that even though I know not to take it personally, there's this feeling like I'm still holding it for a bit emotionally, and I'd love to know, like, if you would like to share how you kind of let that go, the recent experience.
Oh yeah, it was really hard actually, because I'll explain the background. I was actually in a group that someone had invited me to called Eyes Wide Open. And so I kind of was under the impression this was quite an open-minded, spiritual night group that I was in. So maybe I should have checked it out a bit further. And what happened was that someone in the group, a mum, she said, I'm thinking of vaccinating my child. But I'd really like just some feedback from other mums in here about your experiences, you know, your personal experiences and journeys, and also any information you think might help me to make this decision. So I came from a place of loving, and I just shared my son's story, because my son was vaccine damaged, which is something that, again, I find really hurtful, because none of my family recognize this. And a lot of people, when you've had a vaccine damaged child, they actually attack you and they laugh at you. So not only have you had the injury, but no one believes you. Everybody thinks you're crazy. So that's been a difficult point for me. So, but I spoke up in the group and I said, you know, this is what happened to my son. And I said, I'm not telling you what to do. I'd just like you to do the research and not walk into it blindly like I did, because I didn't do any research. And And now, I've been researching for 10 years, so I know a lot about it now. And then I actually shared from the CDC website the list of ingredients that are in vaccines, which there are some very toxic ingredients in there. And that is when I shared that, I got the attack, because 3 separate men went and looked at my website, and they basically said, "Who are you to be talking about this? You're not a doctor." And I won't even use the words that they used against me, because they're just awful. And they said I should be strung up and die, or because I shared some information, and because I wasn't a doctor. So that really, I have to say, threw me off my center really badly. I actually physically felt attacked, not just the words they were using, but my whole body went into fear and shock, because I was just coming from a loving place and I wasn't expecting the attack. When you're not expecting something. And I felt really off center for a few days. And I actually contacted Kim, and I said to Kim, "Oh my gosh, I'm feeling a little bit, I just felt very fragile." And she reminded me of my soul reading. And she said, "This is why Mother Mary came up for you in the soul reading, because you need to connect with that energy." And that is actually what helped. And she told me to, help to ask Mother Mary to help transmute this fear that was in my heart. And she told me about a beautiful blue coolness, that sort of energy, not a fire, but a coolness that was going to help me to overcome this. And it worked. So thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
Because honestly, it's terrifying when you get attacked at that level, when you're coming from a place of genuine caring for other people, and you're just sharing something. I wasn't telling anyone what to do. I was just sharing my personal story. So it was a very emotional 2 days, and it was very hard, because I think it brought up stuff to do with my own family as well, that nobody believes me, and that's quite a difficult thing to have to deal with. That, I know in my heart what happened, but it's very difficult when others don't see it and don't agree with you, and you're constantly fighting this battle, I guess. So maybe, those people attacking me, it needed to happen. I needed to feel that incredible, attack on me, to realize that people, when it comes to certain subjects, maybe they're in their own fears, they must be, because to attack that strongly when someone's just sharing an opinion is quite crazy, really. So they're obviously so in their own world, vaccines are so important that they can't bear anybody to say anything against, even though it was my story and it was facts shared off the CDC website. So it was a real learning curve for me. And it is scary when you put yourself out there, but there's something that's in me that's driving me to do this, despite the attacks that I get, and every day I sort of, and I know you've had this experience as well, Kim, but sometimes, you don't want to put yourself out there because you don't want to get attacked. And every morning when I wake up, I'm like this, look, I'm so scared to look at Facebook, because I'm thinking, oh gosh, who am I going to, and I'm not a confrontational person. I can't bear it. I can't bear to have arguments with people. But at the same time, it is a time when we are all being called to share our truth.
Yeah, and I think you're so right with that. When you put yourself out there, as it were, and you're very vulnerable, and especially if you're speaking through the heart, your heart's open, and you feel the pain of people attacking you. But I feel that that's part of what the stepping into our power is about. It's putting ourselves out there again and again and again, because the time for being quiet is over. We're all fighting the battles that we feel are the true ones for you. Like you, Nikki, the autism battle. So that's really generalizes it, but you know what I mean. The fight for what is true. You're doing it. You're out there. You're doing it. And yes, there are trolls out there that are going to mock you, that won't understand, and it's really difficult because it's your family, all of your family actually, that are not supportive in this. But you're still doing it, and that is really, really commendable. And I feel that the more you put yourself out there, it's like the bigger we get, the more we're going to get attacked in a way, because the more we're going to be seen. We can't let that stop us. We have to keep breaking through that barrier, and then the next barrier, and then the next barrier, to the point where we don't even care anymore. I remember the first time that I posted something on Facebook and I got massively attacked for, and I went into fight or flight mode. It was the whole kind of, heart palpitations, feet wanting to run. And now I'm posting similar sort of things, and the reaction is less in me. The physical reaction is less and less in me, to the point now where with some of them, it doesn't even affect me. I mean, some of the more vicious ones still do, but it's almost that, cliche of practice makes perfect, in that the more you do it, the more you desensitize yourself to it. But that brings me around to the next thing I wanted to say, because I feel that, like I've mentioned, I feel it's really important for us all to support each other. So I wanted to give you three guys an opportunity just to talk about what your work is, what your passion is, what you do, and we'll post your website link in the description under the video as well. So if you wanted to say something about that.
And hopefully the trolls won't attack it this time.
Oh, you've got 5 other people to defend you. You'll be all right.
Swoop in, please, swoop in. Well, I'll jump in then and say, well, I've already told part of my story. So obviously, you know, my son was vaccine injured when he was a year and a half. And this has led to my vocation in life, my passion, because I did a lot of research and just found out things that could help him. And one of the things is craniosacral therapy, which really helped him hugely on so many levels. You know, it helped him just become more sociable. It's helped him with his health. You know, now he's a happy, healthy, sociable boy. Still, the speech hasn't come yet, but I'm working on it. We're working on it. But it's led me to now what I do for a living is I work not only with autistic families, but mainly. So I've got about 100 families with kids or young adults, teenagers on the spectrum. And I just love what I do. I feel really grateful that, you know, at the age that I am now, I left my full-time job 5 years ago now. So in my 40s, I finally found, you know, what I want to do. And that's helping families just to be as healthy and happy as they can be.
Perfect. Yeah. And Gabriella, did you want to say something about?
Sure. Yep. I took a little break from doing the work that I was doing, and then now I'm going through a transformation with it. But I've always felt called towards relationships, and always felt this presence with me of my counterpart ever since I was a young girl. So I have helped people in relationships, and particularly connecting with their twin flame and their journey with their soulmates and that. And I took a break. I started doing more hands-on stuff. So I added massage in. So I was doing massage for a while, still am doing that. And now I am coming back in and doing a transformation of my coaching. What I feel really passionate about is helping people become who they really are. I had a radio show called Beautiful, and I want to use that as for people who realize that they have unique, beautiful gifts, and to step into that and to be who they are to the fullest. So that's kind of where my coaching is heading into, is helping people discover their passion and bring that forward.
Jeanette, how about you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm very similar to both, actually, because it's about firing up your passion. I left work, like corporate work, if you like, in early 40s and travelled. So I did like 10 years of volunteer work, trying to find what I resonated with, you know, not in an office, not cooking, not, you know, just anything, farm work, animals, which was my passion when I was a child. I always wanted to work with animals, but I didn't want to do the 7 years at a vet school. So I went back to that sort of thing, and since then, I've been doing a lot of farm sitting, pet sitting, you know, horses, all that sort of thing. But also been doing a lot of healing modalities, because I've been finding that I always tend to be asked for advice and taking responsibility for people's businesses, families, you know, the mechanics of their relationships, and coming up with solutions. So that was where I started doing the coaching. So at the moment, I'm in a little bit of transition between the animal jobs because I can't do anything because of the COVID. I'm in Australia at the moment. I came out for a 3-month visa, and I'm now here 6 months because I can't get back, which isn't a drama, you know. It's a lovely place, and I've been rescuing all sorts of animals. This week's a kookaburra, but, you know. And basically, I want to help women in their 40s and 50s onwards find the passion again, you know, find the joy in their lives, find, you know, wear the colourful clothes, wear the crystals, pick up their art, you know, and their writing. Basically find what brings them joy again, because I think with the COVID especially, I think people have been so busy working that their hobbies have gone out the windows because they're too tired. And now, you know, with having to either stop work or reduce the work, they're all going, what do I do? They don't want to just watch Netflix all the time. And they're finding that the relationship with the kids or the husband is difficult because they haven't spent so much time together as they are now. And basically want to encourage them to start trying different things. You know, if they want to get back into wild swimming, do it. If they want to get back into their art, do it. You know, if they want to start their own business, I can help them do that, you know, but basically give them the confidence to put a foot out of the norm and pick up something different, you know. I've travelled the world. I've on my own mostly bought a place in Italy, you know. I don't think of anything as being, because I'm 50 odd, as a stop, you know, a stop sign. I want to carry on doing healing. I want to do whatever takes my fancy, run retreats, you know, the world's my oyster. And I want other people to think that as well, because, you know, so many times I get, oh, but it's all right for you, you know, and it's not. I'm no different to anybody else. I've just done it. I've just gone, right, I'm going to do that now, you know. And my kids came out for a while, travel with me, and they've done it, you know. So it's not just my age, anybody can do it, and there's safe ways of doing things. So that's another thing I want to encourage women to travel in the ways that are safe, and, you know, possibly do volunteer work or hire a camper van and, you know, those sort of things, just to get themselves back to their dreams and passions, you know. And so, yeah, you know, it's very similar to what Gabrielle and Mickey are doing. And Mickey, you know, I know that about the trolling thing has really upset you, but from what you were saying, all I can think of is how many people have watched or read what you put out there, and it's helped them make the decision that they don't want to vaccinate the child. And you're not going to see that because people are frightened to post it, but you might have saved 100 people from vaccinating the child that were on the fence and now go, nah, I think we'll just leave it. So, you know, think of it that way.
Yeah, I do like to think that, you know, for everybody that attacks you, there'll also be, you know, I've also had, let's you know, from the other side, I've had some people say some lovely things as well. So it's not just an attack. I guess the attacks sort of, because they're so strong and they get you, because being a sensitive person, those are the ones that stick in your head. But you're right, I should remember all the people that, and you know, just helping people, because we get told by doctors often, you know, when my son was small, oh, there's nothing you can do. Oh, he's got a gut problem and he hasn't pooed for 10 days. Oh, well, that's just autism. And unfortunately, there isn't that help and support for mothers when their child has had a gut damage, and we end up having to do our own research, and that is what gets our child better. You know, and I'm not saying that all doctors are like that, because there's some great doctors out there who are now helping the cause and who understand that autism isn't just a brain condition, it's a whole body condition. And because it affects the body, unless you clear up those comorbid problems that they have, medical issues, then you're always going to have a sick child that doesn't want to engage in life or to learn. And that's what I'm trying to, I guess I'm like an autism recovery life coach, as well as doing my craniosacral, my Reiki work. And I like to feel that I have helped a lot of parents who perhaps didn't know all the options out there for them, you know, and it warms my heart when I had some lovely feedback from a client yesterday who said to me, my son is 18 and he's actually taken himself off to the toilet for the first time in his life by himself, without, you know, asking a family member to help. And that was a huge, huge thing for him, you know. So I get so much joy that counteracts the negative side that we might have, you know, but just hearing how well these kids and young adults are doing, thanks to not just my work, but other healers who are helping them, say with homeopathy or, you know, diet, that kind of thing, which we don't unfortunately hear of so much in the mainstream media, you know, because it gets squashed and censored. But there is so much out there to help these families, and that's, I guess, what I want to get across.
Yeah,
It's all about being seen.
Yeah.
And it's having the courage to step away from the mainstream, step away from what you've been indoctrinated to believe is true, and question things. I think that's what we have to do. And especially at the moment, there's this huge movement of anti-conspiracy nutters, you know. And anyway, that's a different conversation, but I feel that one thing is important for everyone to do at the moment is to question everything, to find out what's really true for them. Because like you say, little Finley was vaccinated and that everything changed. And there's so much evidence that's piled up showing that vaccines do cause this damage. And it's important to have people know that, and I feel that this is what we all need to do, is find the truth or know the truth for us and fight for it. Tell people, even if we get told we're crazy on a daily basis, which I kind of am at the moment, which is I'm getting used to, but I think it's important for us to do that. We can't just think things and quietly kind of accept. I think we have to get out there and do it, change things. And we all are supportive. We're all here. It's all of us that are fighting this fight or out there wanting to make the change should all be pulling together. Because one thing I hate seeing is when you get that division, people attacking each other within the same area, or attacking each other because there's a tiny little belief that you believe fairies are blue instead of pink, that kind of thing. It's just so pointless, because we're all doing the same thing. We're walking the same path. We should be walking it together. And conflict within the ranks, as it were, is just completely needless. I don't understand it at all. So,
it's very much about perspective, isn't it? Because it's that picture that you see where you can look at it and one shows the old lady, and then you can look at someone else can look at it and see the young lady, and they're both right. So for Mickey, her truth is that the vaccines have done damage because of the ingredients in it for her child. But then there'll be somebody else who didn't have a vaccine that got, maybe smallpox or, whooping cough or something, and then got damaged that way. So, there is swings and roundabouts on it, but she's right. There isn't enough information out there telling people of the risks of taking the vaccine as opposed to not, So it's a perspective thing. And unfortunately, there's a lot of trolls that just like to have a fight, and it doesn't matter what is actually spoken. They just say black is white because it causes a reaction. There's a healer I follow that he puts out stuff about light language, and he gets lots of trolls, and he just says thank you for sharing, and then they come back about him being a witch and a wizard and all this, and he just thank you for sharing. You're increasing my algorithms. It's great. They're going mad and saying, well, why are you on my Facebook feed? And he's going, because you're interacting with me. Keep going, mate, And he ends up with this long thing of this, and he's going, the guy's just really helping me out, Because
that's such a good
the
way.
more that people respond, people see it more, So it's quite funny. But I mean, obviously, it hurts him as well. But he says, on the other side of it, there's a little devil having a giggle on his shoulder saying, look at what this guy's doing, He's not helping himself.
Good way of looking at it, though, definitely.
Yeah. But I think it's just the way people are, unfortunately, nowadays. It's easy to be weekend warriors or internet warriors because there's nobody actually face-to-face, that's going to thump them on the nose for what they're saying. They can just get away with it,
the things that they say that they would never say to your face. Can you imagine going up to someone in their face and saying the horrible things they do? You wouldn't dare do it, would you? So they feel safe behind their computer screens to say these things, that are very hurtful.
Yeah.
And Mickey, I just wanted to say that it was beautiful that you had that experience of when you actually step in your power and then detached from something, and then somebody went, not the attack experience, but it was a confirmation that you actually did detach or try to detach from it, and then it came into the power, a comment like that. Because I had a few experiences like that on my own, let's say with the ex-relationship, where I detached from the relationship, and then at that moment somebody would show up. So it's kind of interesting. I think it was a good confirmation that you try to follow your soul reading.
I do feel stronger now. I didn't for 2 days. 2 days I was really, really wounded and I was totally thrown off center. I felt terrible, but now I definitely feel stronger. And as I say, the timing of Kim's soul reading was perfect because I was able to then connect with what she'd said and bring in that Mother Mary energy that she'd suggested using, and that's what helped me. So. And it's helped me move forward. So I'm not so scared to share what I think anymore, because I was a bit terrified to put myself out there, even though I know that ultimately saying these things are going to help. I definitely believe that it's going to help other people out there for sure. So we shouldn't be silenced by people who are going to attack us verbally in that way.
And it's funny how sometimes these experiences can happen almost like a test, you know, so it's sometimes you can have a kind of an aha moment or a realization or some kind of discovery, self-discovery moment. And then something externally, which is really you, but something externally will come along and go, okay, you sure about this? You really believe it? Let's push it. Let's see, you know. And that's great to go, well, yes, actually I do. So it's important to have those moments, I think.
Yeah.
I think they also come up too because of boundaries. I mean, I think boundaries is a really huge thing. I think on degrees we're all learning this, you know, because I have been working with just the whole perception of what unconditional love is, and that unconditional love is you can accept where someone's at, but you don't have to allow it. You know, and that's what I've been learning myself as well. And I've actually had to block people that have been in my life because of attacks. And, you know, I've come to the place where just because I had a relationship with them in the past and a connection doesn't mean that we're aligned now. And that's okay. To have a boundary, it could be a connection ceasing and changing, or it just could be putting up a boundary. And I think that's so healthy. It's actually very loving for yourself and the other person to do that.
No, absolutely. And I think it can be very helpful as well, because sometimes we can go through life without boundaries or not realizing that our boundaries are very flimsy. So sometimes that can be really helpful to go, actually, no, I don't accept that. I've accepted it all my life, but I'm not doing it anymore. You know, and that can be a really good pushback, because I think that's also part of stepping into your power, is knowing what your boundaries are and knowing what you will and won't accept, and how, if it's something that's unacceptable to you, that it's okay to push back about it, you know, against it in whatever way is true for you. You know, because I think that's another thing, is women were brought up to be meek and subservient and go, oh no, it's fine, everything's fine. But I think we need to really start going, no, actually, it's really not okay. Because it can be hard though, finding your boundaries with things, because you have that, or speaking for myself, I have that, you know, fight or flight reaction, because I'm very bad with confrontation. I find it terrifying. Less and less so as time is going on. But sometimes you just have those moments where you have to draw that line.
I was definitely like that in the past, for sure, like very open to everything. And I just wanted everything to be good. I didn't like confrontation either. I wanted everything to be peaceful, wanted people to like me. And so I think having healthy boundaries is learning about balance, and that you don't need to have everybody like you. You got to just be true to yourself, you know, and sometimes that requires boundaries.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Boundaries seems to be such a big topic.
Seems that we're talking about stepping into our power and boundaries, which is great.
Well, I think for me, the soul reading was definitely about self-love, you know, stop people pleasing and stepping into your power. So yeah, definitely about boundaries and put the bags down and all the burdens and, you know, live for me, not for everybody else. And I can feel, you know, like I have had inklings and I've had dreams before the reading that were very similar to what you said in the reading, you know, so I know that was there, and it was obviously my soul giving me a kick going, what the flipping heck are you doing, you know, this is how it should be. You know, like I said to you, even my grandmother came through in the spiritual church and was like, stop looking after everybody else. What about you? Do your thing, do your life, you know. And I was like, yeah. I was looking after my other gran at the time, you know, I could just put her down to fend for herself, you know. But yeah, so I think there's been a few years of my soul sort of banging on the door going, when are you going to start doing your thing for you instead of everybody else, you know? So definitely a self-love thing there. And you know, from the people that I've worked with, that so many women just don't have it. You know, they're looking after everybody else. So, yeah, if I can empower women to do, you know, put some boundaries up and look after themselves a little bit better, do some things for them, that's good. Anything's better than nothing.
Yeah, self-love can be the hardest thing. So much easier sometimes to focus out externally, but bringing it inwards can be difficult sometimes.
Yeah, self-love and self-worth, you know, they're the two hardest things, aren't they? Because they're probably the things that we've been conditioned the most not to believe in. And so I think that was really important that came through in the soul reading, because it showed me I'm going in the right direction, because my soul was saying, yes, you are stepping into your power and your self-confidence more. You haven't had it, but you are now starting to believe in yourself. And I think sometimes, sometimes the attacks can serve to believe in yourself more, because you push back against them like, no, I'm not a nutter. I am helping people. and I don't want to sound like I'm, I talked about my family, and actually my dad, throughout this sort of whole lockdown period, it's been quite funny because he's actually been my biggest troll. but we've laughed about it, and actually weirdly, I think, and I hope he listens to this, there's a part of me that's terrified of him listening to this. Like, what? But he has actually, it's quite funny, there's been a few things I've posted where I've really, made him very angry. And I've had him actually calling me and saying, take that down at once. And I was like, oh. But I was, the old me, the smaller Mickey, that was scared, would have kind of gone, oh, okay, then help, and that terrifying thing of somebody. And actually what I would say is put it back to him and say, what is it that made you so angry? And then we discuss it. And I think that I'd like to say it has helped him as well, although he might not agree with it. But I do think it's helped our relationship and made him think about things a bit more. And, it is scary for people to think you're a nutcase, which is one of my biggest fears, I think, from growing up, is that, I might be seen to be nutty because I'm in a profession that a lot of people saying, oh, that's a bit woo-woo, what are you actually doing? So to sort of be able to get the confidence to say, no, actually, I am helping people. This is helping people. And the feedback proves that, these people are being helped. It's hard, when your own family as well are doubting what it is you do, but maybe they're our family for a reason. Maybe the fact that they are pushing back on us like that is actually making us more resolved to carry on with what we're doing, and it forces what we're doing. It makes us even more determined to be successful in that field.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the trolling, especially for people who are close to you, can be your inner voice. So it's just an externalization of your inner fears. So it's great when you get the trolling that really hits you and you feel, oh my God, because it's connecting to something very deep within you that you believe is true. Because I've had some trolling that has been really nasty, but it hasn't touched a sort of inner child point. So I've just gone, whereas the ones that are really painful are the ones that, I believe somewhere is true.
So you said that to me, Kim, when I contacted you, when that happened, you really made me think about it, because you said, what was it? Because you're right, sometimes the trolling you just go, what? And it doesn't affect you, it just water off a duck's back. But other times this one hit me deep. And as you said, Kim, when I contacted you, because I was like, help, I feel terrible. And you said, well, what is it that it's making you face? And that's what you do. You said when you get attacked, you have to look at why it hit you so deeply. And because it touched on something very core in your belief system, and it made me have to look at why did I get so affected that they attacked what I do for a living so badly.
Yeah.
So what started you off in the soul reading, Kim?
I've always been able to see, I think, but I didn't always realize that I was doing it. So even when I was a child, I'd always be able to very clearly see through what people were saying. So if people were talking and they said something, I would immediately know if it was a lie or if there's some underlying hidden thing. And it was just so obvious. It's like they were shouting it. And I'd kind of be really confused when other adults would just accept what they said on the surface as truth. I'd be like, but they're saying something completely opposite, And then just gradually over the years through work with Katya, Danielle and I are in a group, Wisdom Life School. Oh, Janet, you've heard of it. But
Yeah.
working with the Ratima and just doing that work, just cleared a lot of the crap off the top of it, to the point where Aratima actually was the one that said it to me. I didn't even really know myself, but she said that I'd got to a point of detached clarity where I could see things objectively now, without any of the other stuff that sometimes can be put on top. Because I find that I've had psychic readings in the past before, for example, that I've had a lot of that person's interpretation on top. So it hasn't rung true. Whereas I feel that because it's, for me, it's a stripping away. I'm not at all involved in the reading whatsoever. So all I'm doing is typing what comes through. And because of that, it is very objective, and it's very connected to the person's soul. The person's soul is speaking to me as opposed to me interpreting what the soul is saying, and I'm just writing down what they say. And I love it. It's such a pure, open channel, and it's something that I haven't done enough of. I've done quite a few soul readings since I started doing them, but I haven't really pushed them or promoted them or anything like that. And through these podcasts, Danielle and Katya have kind of been trying to nudge me into taking action on this, and then Ratima and Jason also. And it really does feel like the time, like I was saying earlier, for us to stop hiding and just do what we are here to do, do what we're supposed to do.
And I noticed that you do pet photography. Do you ever read the souls of the animals?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because Jason has told me that's something I need to do, which I haven't done.
Yeah.
But he was saying that one thing I could offer is a soul reading for the pet with an accompanying kind of photograph gallery or whatever.
I think it would be a comfort. Because a lot of people worry about the pets, if they're happy, are they eating enough, am I good enough with them, and if they're happy. I think it would be a big comfort to a lot of people.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I'd not thought of it that way, but thank you. Yeah.
Because I've had, animals come through when I've been doing Reiki and theta healing sometimes, and, because I don't know the animal or I don't know the person that I'm doing the reading for, I just tell them what comes through, like you say, you can't filter it, you just have to say it. And it's been amazing, some of the things that come through. And I'm so sensitive, I'm crying when I'm telling them, but it really puts them at rest, because there's been an animal's past, and they've worried about how it's gone and if it's okay and things like that, and I've not known about this animal, but it's come through, and they're just so happy that it's at peace, and it's got some message for them or whatever that comes through, but it really does put them at ease, So I think it would go down pretty well, I would say.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I will pull my finger out, as it were.
Yeah. Because they've got quite a good sense of humour as well, animals.
Yeah, some do. Yeah, mine definitely does. Every time there's a podcast, he comes in meowing.
Yeah, definitely. They don't like missing out.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. So I was just thinking, I know we'd said 2 hours, just to put 2 hours aside just in case, but it feels like that's kind of come to a bit of a natural end, unless anyone's got anything they want to add.
Been really good.
Been really supportive to be here with each other too. I just feel at this time, coming together and being able to talk about things we're going through and things that come up is it's very supportive. So in the additional part of having your reading and then having the space to talk and share and come together was really, it was a blessing. It was an additional gift. So thanks for having us.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
So nice to put faith.
No, it's been good. No, definitely. Maybe you should put a group together for the soul reading participants.
Oh, yeah, that could be nice, actually.
And we can all keep going and what's going on, how things are evolving. I don't know.
That's a nice idea, actually.
Build community around it. That sounds great.
It does, yeah. And kind of keeping each other up to date and put questions and that kind of thing for each other. Because I've loved also in this conversation how you've all interacted with each other and had questions for each other and supported each other, because that's key. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Thank you.
I want to say thank you for coming and sharing your experiences, because it's been really special for me too. Just to hear, I don't know, it's nice because, there's such an authenticity to it. I just
thank you.
I can feel like a real sense of like immediately when all of us got on the call, I was like, okay, this is going to be really nice. Nice heart opening for me. So thank you.
Thank you from me too.
Thank
it was beautiful to hear all the experiences and how it's all resonated and how it was all spot on. And really to the point where you really needed to know you receive all those answers. I think it's important.
It was nice to hear too that I had a dream the night after reading the soul reading, and it was nice to hear Mickey of having that attack right after to confirm something in hers too, and just an additional confirmation that it wasn't just me that had something else come through afterwards.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Special Lady Kim.
Oh, everyone is. You all are. It's been such a beautiful conversation. It's very authentic, and I think
No, it has.
like Danielle was saying, it's all just been very heart-led, very heart-open, and I feel that that's what we all need to be doing, building these communities of heart-open, heart-led
Yeah.
sharing and support. But thank you so much. It's been so lovely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I
Nice
just
to
want to
meet
say
you.
before I go, thank you so much for my soul reading. It's helped me massively. It really resonated with me and touched me on many deep levels and helped me to see where I need to go next. So your soul readings are brilliant. And I'd encourage anyone to come to you and ask for a soul reading, because it will help them to move forward in their life. And that's the purpose of it, really, isn't it? Is to understand, where we are in our lives and how we can move forward and how we can have the best life that, we can possibly live. So thanks, Kim.
Oh, thank you. Take care.
Bye. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
So for those of you who have listened to the end, I would like to offer 2 more free soul readings. If you email us before the 8th of August 2020, the email address is worriedaboutnothing3@gmail.com, and quote the word empowerment, I will pick 2 names out of the proverbial hat. Thank you.
That was our conversation today on soul readings. This was Worried About Nothing. We had a couple of people that Kim did soul readings for come on, and we heard about their experiences. We'd like to thank them for joining us today, and we really enjoyed the conversation. We're going to put links to their websites down below, so if you're interested in learning more about them, and we're going to have a link to Kim's website as well if you're interested in a soul reading. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave us a comment down below what you think of soul readings. Do you think they're cool? Do you think we're crazy? Any feedback is welcome. Thank you for listening. We'll see you again soon. Bye.